Hey, old Plaidman here. So today I kind of want to do a silly video. You'll have to excuse the background. I think it looks amazing, but I actually don't want to take credit for it. This is actually my father's workshop, and all the other places that I was doing it, and I'm still trying to figure out where I want to go. I'm trying this format because I actually really like this, but I think I still got to work out some details. So I'm working on the details and changing and tweaking things so that I feel good about it, and also changing it so that it looks better, because that's what we're doing. Anyhow, I also cheated. I was supposed to do a vertical one today, but I really wanted to do this and try this out, so we're trying this out. Anyhow, so I saw Batman, the new Batman today, the 2022 Batman, the sparkly Batman, and I thought it was real interesting how much hate people were giving, or on one end of the spectrum was hate, and on the other end, my lady's perspective is I don't know if he can be Batman because I know him from Twilight. And in her defense, she did illustrate how she had seen several other movies that he had been in and saw how deep and how far reaching his range was. So she still had reservations because he did that, but is kind of what was going into it with an open mind, and she liked it, so that was good. Interestingly enough, she had reservations about the lady who played Zoe Kravitz, I think is her name, the lady who played Catwoman. I will say this for starters from the outset: if you saw the trailer, it is one of the few times where I feel like the trailer didn't undersell, but it properly sold. There was one part in the trailer where I knew it was coming, so it wasn't as eventful, but how we got to that point was epic and amazing and really, really well done. But other than that, the rest of the trailer, I kind of forgot about it and just enjoyed it. Other thing I will note is that I know other people are talking about it, but it's a 2-hour and 55-minute long movie or something like that. It's very long. I generally don't have an issue with long movies, and I did not have an issue with this at all. My lady, we sat down and we were 15 minutes in, and she's like, "Oh, I want to get some Raisinets." And I'm thinking to myself, I'm not getting Raisinets. Sorry. I didn't say it. I just felt in my head, I was like, well, that's nice. And she did not go and get Raisinets. She wanted Raisinets, but she did not go and get them because, in her words, she was enjoying the story and didn't want to miss anything because it was really, really good. And I agree. I personally think that the characters and how they were portrayed were pretty amazeballs. Pretty oh my goodness, I did not know Colin Farrell's in the movie, and it's like a case of Where's Waldo. So unless you know what character he's playing, I'm just going to leave it at that. If you don't know, try and find Colin Farrell in the movie. And the fact that you have the Riddler, and the fact that you have Penguin, and you have Catwoman, it was terrific. And the whole style of it is very gritty and rough and tumble and just ugh. And in a weird way, I almost felt like Batman was not... I don't want to call him not a superhero, but I felt like he was less than what we would expect from Batman, and in a good way. He's young, he's kind of been doing this for 2 years, as they say in the very beginning of the film, and he's still got a lot to learn, and they did a lot of interesting things to kind of build up his character while also not rehashing, and this is how Batman started, and this is this, but also going back to and referencing past stuff that happened in his history and how it is relevant to now. And it was terrific. It was a terrific arc through and through. I really enjoyed it. One thing I felt, and I will say this, is that I don't want to give any spoilers away. Simply put, there is a bad guy in the film, and he did a thing, and then he did another thing, and then he did another thing, and he did another thing. Oh, I'll just say, it's the Riddler. The Riddler did several things. And what I found is that I didn't really object to him doing those things up until a certain part. And then up until that part, which was about, I don't know, whatever, that was when I felt like he drew the line, like crossed the line. Because in a weird way, I personally don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to mete out justice and really hold people accountable for their sins and what they have done, and how those sins, like if you're a criminal and you do something, that's bad enough, but especially if you're in a position of power and authority and you're also being a criminal, especially in a situation where you're in a position of power and authority and you're like responsible for handling criminals and you're a criminal yourself, it's like twice, 10x fold worse. And to me, I felt like one could argue there was a justification behind the actions that Riddler took up and until a certain point when I felt like he went, instead of attacking the person who did the thing, he basically was attacking the ancestor, the next of kin of the person who did the thing. And that point to the rest of the film, and I challenge you, if you haven't seen the film, I'm curious, put in your comments like, well, no, I think he was just bad. Or, oh, no, like, I agree with you, once he did this, or, you know what, the whole thing he did was totally fine. If that's your opinion, then, well, maybe you should call me, private message me, we can talk, because we got things to talk about. But up until a certain point, and then after that, I was like, okay, whoa, that's some heavy stuff. And they really did a good job. I don't remember what the rating was, but it felt rated R without being rated R, if that makes sense. So it felt like a very hard PG-13. I very much enjoyed it. I kind of want to watch it again, not because I didn't get it all the first time, but just because I want to support it. And there's a couple things I want to say in general to like DC and DC fanboys or whatever. I really like this darker stuff. Like, I enjoyed Joker for what it was. I enjoyed the Snyder cut. I enjoy this version of Batman. I actually had a weird idea, and if there's any comic book nerds out there, you can tell me. But I was like, okay, so Batman doesn't kill people, right? Now, if you want a hero that does, you go to someone like Daredevil in the Marvel Universe or somebody else, I'm sure. But part of me feels like there is a time and a place to do that, because ultimately, anybody who knows any Batman stuff whatsoever, he gets the bad guy who's done all this damage, all this stuff, puts him in Arkham, which is like horribly run, so then they escape, and then he has to go and rinse, repeat. And that's just a fundamentally flawed system. So one could make an argument that, okay, maybe it would be better for everyone if when you capture them, you just also kill them. I know that's a really nasty thing to talk about, and there's a separate subject I want to talk about in general. I wrote it down. It's probably going to be a side little special piece maybe this weekend. Anyways, but it's just a thought. But here's like a fun story concept idea. So Batman doesn't kill people, right? And I was like, what if Batman's going around fighting crime, doing, beating up these bad guys. Hopefully they'll change their ways, getting them caught. And after he does that and then, swoops and mysteriously disappears, as Batman is wont to do, what if there was like a villain or a really nasty anti-hero, a chick or a guy, who is coming behind him and actually like killing the criminals? And in doing that, what it does is, because it's so obviously like Batman beat these people up and these people are dead, then the people of Gotham start looking at him like, oh, he's not just a vigilante, he's a murderer. And you get a little bit of like the second Batman movie with Christian Bale, where they start kind of turning on him. And he's like, I'm not the hero Gotham needs, or whatever. That whole cool line. Anyways, I just thought that was a cool thing, and I don't know if it's anywhere in the comics where somebody does that, but I just thought it would be kind of an interesting, weird thing to see how Batman now has to kind of go back to, like, he beats up all these villains, and then he has to kind of go back to the scene of now crime, murder, and investigate that, but now the cops think he did it, So it's like this weird, like, cat, mouse, dog, cat, mouse, dog thing. That was just what I was thinking about, and it's kind of neither here nor there. There's only one flaw, generally, that I had with the movie. I felt like Warner Brothers could not help but interject a little bit of the message. And I don't really care about color and nationality and things like that, but I noticed and I felt like it was a cognitive choice to do this, that the bad guys were all white people, okay? Every single one of them were white men, white straight men. All of the bad guys, with the exception of Batman, okay? That's the only exception. Pretty much all of the good guys, especially the incorruptible good guys, tended to be people of color and or women. People of color, and then in addition, people of color who are also women. And I don't really care. Like, I don't care. I actually like the actor a lot who played Gordon. I thought he did a stellar job. I thought the actress who played Catwoman did a stellar job. I thought the world building was stellar, and I don't really care about color. However, I thought it was very interesting to me that, all right, so we're going to interject race in these things, but we're not going to, like, evenly spread it out. And to me, I'm just like, okay. That's like making a cake, right? You got this whole cake, and you're like, well, okay, I'm going to have some of the cake, right? I want this much cake, so I'm only going to put the poison in this half of the cake. The other half is going to be good, right? So then when you go to eat the cake, you're only eating this half down here because you know you poisoned this half. And you're like, but that's fine. I got half the cake. So good. And to me, I'm just like, okay. But, like, if you're going to have bad people, like, and you want diversity, then make it diverse. So, also just, speaking out there, how come there was no Native Americans or Asians in there, people? Just saying, that's kind of weird that they only have some black people and you only have some white people. It's kind of weird, so you guys should kind of coordinate. Anyhow, enjoyable movie, have fun, really terrific, really well done. Can't wait to watch it again. We'll talk to you guys more later. Thank you for tuning in. Have a good one. Plaidman out.